This is gonna blow your mind. Before we dive into the chilling story of how soldiers outsmarted winter's deadly grip, make sure to hit subscribe, like and share so you never miss out on ingenious survival stories like this. Winter 1944. Ardennes Forest. The cold is merciless, more deadly than bullets. Soldiers huddle in thin canvas tents, fighting not just the enemy, but the freezing air that seeps through every layer. Standard issue gear fails. Frostbite and hypothermia threaten to end more lives than combat. The ground itself drains warmth, and the wind cuts through their makeshift shelters. But necessity sparks innovation. Soldiers adapt, using what they have and what they know. They build frames, simple wooden structures, to lift themselves off the frozen earth. This transforms a flimsy tent into a true sanctuary, blocking wind and insulating from the snow. The frame is more than a trick. It's a shift in survival philosophy. Across the front, this small act of ingenuity saves countless lives. It's a testament to human resilience, finding solutions in the darkest times. The WWII pup tent was a compromise. Lightweight, quick to set up, but woefully inadequate in winter. With no real floor, it left soldiers exposed to the frozen ground, which sucked away body heat. Even wrapped in bedrolls, men lost warmth to the snow beneath them. The tent structure was weak. Heavy snow collapsed it, and wind tore at every seam. Flapping canvas and icy drafts made rest impossible, turning shelter into a trap. Morale suffered. Without warmth or security, exhaustion set in. A soldier denied real rest was a soldier at risk, physically and mentally. The tent's failure wasn't just discomfort, it was a threat to survival. The need for a better solution was urgent and clear. Only innovation could offer true protection from winter's fury. The answer was simple: a wooden frame. Soldiers scavenged planks, saplings, or crates to build sturdy skeletons for their shelters. Canvas stretched over these frames created a taut, windproof barrier. Elevating the shelter broke the chain of heat loss to the ground. Inside, raised platforms of branches or boards insulated sleeping soldiers. This single change turned misery into real rest. The frame system was endlessly adaptable, dug into hillsides banked with snow or built above ground. Snow piled against the walls added insulation, using the environment as an ally. The frame wasn't just a better tent. It was a complete survival system. It redefined how soldiers faced the cold. Structural rigidity was everything. The wooden frame stood strong against snow and wind, unlike flimsy tents that sagged and collapsed. Heavy snow pressed down, but the frame distributed weight safely to the ground. Wind battered the shelter, but taut canvas and a solid skeleton resisted flapping and tearing. Dug in and banked with snow, the frame shelter became a fortress. Inside, the world felt safer, the wind muffled, the snow's threat diminished. This security allowed soldiers to truly rest and recover. The frame's strength was both physical and psychological. It was the difference between barely surviving and being ready to fight. In chaos, the frame created order and safety. Survival depended on this simple, rigid innovation. The frame shelter's genius was its adaptability. In forests, soldiers built A-frames from saplings, layering pine boughs for insulation. On open plains, they dug deep, using earth for walls and a frame for the roof, camouflaged and windproof. In mountains, they anchored frames to rocks, bracing with stones and building on slopes. Each landscape demanded a new approach, and the frame made it possible. Soldiers used whatever was at hand, wood, earth, rock, to create stable, warm shelters. The frame was a blueprint, not a fixed design. Working with the environment, not against it, was key. This principle of adaptation is at the heart of survival. The WWII frame shelter proved that a simple idea could conquer any terrain. The frame shelter's legacy lives on in modern gear. Post-war, designers adopted its principles, rigid frames, elevation and wind resistance, into new tents. Today's four-season tents use lightweight poles to create self-supporting skeletons, echoing the WWII. Frame. Freestanding tents withstand wind and snow, just as the soldiers' shelters did. Modern sleeping mats and cots insulate from the ground, a direct lesson from the past. Tarp camping and modular shelters borrow the frame's adaptability. The focus remains: use the environment, basic engineering, and a few key materials. The frame shelter's philosophy, simple, effective, and adaptable, endures. Every modern shelter owes something to this wartime innovation. The frame trick that beat the winter became the blueprint for survival. The WWII frame shelter is more than history, it's a survival manual. Lesson 1. Always insulate yourself from the ground with mats or improvised beds. Lesson 2. Value a rigid structure. Learn to build frames from branches if gear fails. A tarp over a solid frame is far superior to a loose cover. Adapt to your surroundings, use rocks, logs or snow for extra protection. Study the landscape before building, work with nature, not against it. Simplicity wins. The frame shelter was basic but effective. Focus on the fundamentals. Get off the ground, block wind, keep dry. Master these basics and you'll be ready for any challenge. The frame shelter's lessons are timeless, practical, proven, and essential. The WWII frame shelter reminds us that necessity drives innovation. Ordinary people facing extraordinary cold used ingenuity to survive. The wooden frame is a symbol of adaptability and resourcefulness. Survival principles don't change. Warmth, shelter, and rest are always vital. Learning from history gives us more than skills, it connects us to a legacy. Every modern shelter technique echoes these hard-won lessons. This knowledge is our inheritance, practical, proven, and life-saving. Share these lessons. The more who know, the better prepared we all become. History isn't just the past, it's a living resource for survival. Remember the frame shelter and carry its wisdom into every adventure.